I'm never writing a SQL query again, and I'm going to show you why. So here I have an AI agent, and I pass in simply top 5 customers with over $500 of spend and tell me their total spend too. So bad English and a spelling mistake, and yet it still brings back the correct SQL query response. How does this work? Well, we have the 4.0 model from OpenAI plugged in to this tools agent inside n8n. Now this tools agent has access to my pSQL database and uses MCP servers to find the right tools, get the schema, and run the query. So let's do a quick demo, then I'll show you how to create it. So let's do a quick demo, and then I'll show you how we can create it. So if I just copy this again, and we'll reset the session, show you it live working, and we say top 5 customers with over $500 of spend, and tell me their total spend too. And so the AI agent will then start listing out the tools that it can use and the resources that it can look at. It will then read the resources, which means it's going to get the schema. Once it has all of the relevant schemas of our tables, it will then use the correct tool to then execute the query. So in today, what we're going to build is, we're going to build this out. I'm going to show you step by step exactly how to do it. I'm even going to show you how to create a temporary database that we can use and how to fill it automatically. So as you can see, here's the results. Here are the top 5 customers with total spending. And we can see from the logs here on the right hand side, all the stuff that's happened, right down to the execution tool, what was the actual query that it had run, and what was the actual response. So very cool indeed. So we're going to be following this guide from my SQL community. Here the guide, it tells you every single thing that we have to do, from provisioning our free database, putting the dummy data in, installing and running n8n, getting the MCP nodes up and running, and then configuring the actual workflow as well. Now at the very bottom, it does have the workflow that we're going to use, so you can just click on that, download it, and then you can literally just come to n8n and you can import from file and run it, as well as having the script. So the actual dummy data script, this here, it has that as well. So if you join the SQL community, it's a free trial for the first 7 days. Come in, join our calls, get yourself up to speed on AI and how to use agents. Yeah, come on the calls, talk to me, get the templates to plug and play as well, and join the community, get involved in the discussion of applying AI. So first thing we've got to do is, we go back to the guide, is provision or render Postgres DB. So we're going to use it on render. The reason is render is the easiest one to use. I'm telling you, it's the easiest one to provision resources on. So create an account on render.com, you click add new, go to Postgres, then from here give it a name. You literally just call it like n8n test, and then you scroll down here, leave everything else as is except instance type. We want to change that to free, and then click create DB, and that is literally it. You now have a free Postgres database that we can use. Now I already have one, and you only get 1 free per account. You can see mine's here, test DB. And if you go to it, the way we can get the credentials so that we can actually connect to it is by clicking connect, and then going to external, and external database URL, copy that, and then that's how we can connect it. That's literally that simple. So once you've created that and we've done this, we can then go to terminal, open up a terminal, and download pSQL if you don't already have it. But if you do, write pSQL, and then we'll paste that in, press enter, and now we're connected to the database. So if you do, is it dt backslash or backslash dt? There we go. We can see the tables that we have. We have 4 tables here. You won't have any. How do you get these tables? Well, what we want to do is, let me exit here, or quit, is we want to download this here. As I said before, you can come into the SQL community, 7-day free trial, download the script and run it that way, or if you really want, you can just ask ChatGPT to generate you some fake data. That's essentially how I got this. So once you've got it, download the file, and then because it's an sh file, so .sh, for me, for reference, it's stored under users and then me, not in my downloads, whereas if you download this, it will be in u/u downloads, right? Blah, 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 downloads. So you want to go to that directory. So you may have to change directories to downloads, for example. I don't have to because mine is in here. You want to chmod +x, then the name of it. Press enter. And so now this means that this file will be an executable, meaning you can now run it. So then if we run it, // and then insert, and the way I'm getting this to go rapid is pressing tab and it automatically enters it. Doesn't come straight from my brain. It gets it based on the letter that it's on. So if you type in INS and then tab, all your files with INS will start coming through in alphabetical order. You can just keep, I think it's alphabetical order. You just keep pressing tab. Anyway, so it will then connect to your database and then it will create a table and it will populate it with successful data. Now, do beware that when you download it, and this is all running, mine connects because I'm using my URL. But for you, you're going to want to open this up, say in Notepad++ or VS Code or something. And you're going to want to change this here to your specific Postgres that we just copied from here. So get that, copy that, open this file up in VS Code, and then change this chunk here. But do remember to keep this $SSL mode require, because basically that means that it runs over HTTPS. So like if you see here, websites run on HTTPS, that's the standard now, so you have to make sure that's required. So once you've done that, you will then have data, and so if we pSQL back in, you will then be able to do the DT and see all of the tables. Now, if we wanted to run a query, say for example, the one that we were on, oh, little spoiler alert, we have the ultimate coding agent, which can use pSQL database, GitHub, and search the web. This is on school now, so go have a look if you want to check it out. Otherwise, wait for the video to come out. So, sneak peek. If we wanted to say top 5 customers with blah blah blah, I already sent this into ChatGPT, and this is the query that it given me back. So if I copy that query, I mean, look at the size of that. Are you a data engineer? Are you a software engineer? Are you a data analyst? Probably not. Although you might be, and you maybe try to speed up your workflow. Well, you probably don't want to be writing this out. You'd rather just use natural language. So if we paste this in here, we can see that there you go. It comes back with the information, the same as our n8n workflow. But you'd have to write this out like that. So the whole point in this is instead, we literally just write top 5 customers. Boom. And that's it. So let's start creating this now we have our database sorted. So I'll move that onto my other screen. And we'll create a new workflow and we'll go from scratch. So the first thing we want to do is we want to self-host n8n. So within the school community, you can see that I have within the n8n masterclass, hosting, I talk about cloud versus hosting, NPM versus Docker, which is the way to self-host, or doing it just by NPM. So NPM is the easiest way to do it. We're just going to do npm install -g n8n, and you run that just in here. So let's quit that. You just run it in here, npm blah blah blah, and that will install n8n. And then once it's installed, we can just do n8n start, and it will start up your n8n. But mine is already installed, so I already have it running here. I actually have my Twitter agent running in the background, which is a previous video that I'd done. So my entire Twitter right now is currently being run by an AI, which is pretty cool. So I'm learning how to make it better, this AI. But every 4 hours, but my laptop I switched it off. But every 4 hours it actually, I don't know, someone's replied. But there we go, this is completely running by AI, which is super cool. Just shows you the power of this kind of n8n automation. So anyway, once you have n8n installed, what we want to do now is we want to install or enable the ability to use MCP nodes. So if we go to, we'll go to localhost, because this is what you'll go to when you first do it. You won't have all of these, probably not. I want to create a new workflow. First step we'll do is on chat message. So basically this is a way for you to chat with the agent. If you write something in here, nothing will happen. If you want, by the way, a deeper understanding of how to actually use this stuff, because I'm not going to get into too much detail, it's all inside the school community in the masterclass, classroom, masterclass, and inside here you can learn how to build these agents. So if we go back to the workflow, on chat message received, then click plus here, advanced AI agent, and we want an AI agent. Right, so that's it. We simply have an AI agent and a chat bot now, but we want to connect it to a model. So if we click plus, we go to OpenAI chat model, and I'm going to use 4.0. I was using 4.0 mini for ages, and it was making me rip my hair out. That's why there's nothing left. But it just wasn't working. So 4.0 is the one I'm going to use. For here, you want to create credentials. If you just follow the setup guide here, it's super simple. You just want your API key, and then you'll be able to use it. So now we can chat away as if it's actually a chat bot. Oh, what's happened here? There we go. So it's working as a chat model. Now, we want to add memory so that it will remember things. So it means I can continually reference something. So if I said, who are the top 5? And then it gives me something back, I go, actually, run that again, but do top 3, and then it will remember the context. So that was cool there. So the next thing we want to do is add this MCP tool. So if you click plus here and search MCP, it won't show up. It does for me, because I have it installed, but you won't have it shown up. So what you want to do is 3 dots, settings. Let me save this first, actually. We'll save this as... my brain's just gone completely blank. Database agent SQL vid. There we go. We'll save that. So for 3 dots, settings, and here we're going to go to community nodes. Now these community nodes, you're going to want to install this n8n nodes MCP, and you want to make sure it's updated. And you click install, and you just write that in here. Understand the risks, and click install. Now click on browse. You go see a bunch of community nodes. Again, we talk more about it in the masterclass, or have a Google if you're interested as well. So once you've installed this n8n nodes MCP, you will now have the ability to add MCPs here too. So MCP client, and for example, execute tools. But the problem is, this adds it in as a workflow, not as a tool. You want to add it as a tool. Also for this, again, I talk all about it inside the Applied AI school. So if you want more information, go there to check it out. So to add it as a tool, what you're wanting to do is, you want to go to your command line again. You want to write in this command: export n8n community packages, allow tool use equals true. So what that does is it allows you to use this tool here as, this node, MCP client, but as a tool. So then it'll show up like this, client tool. Right, so we've added that. Don't worry about what's on it yet. I'll show you soon enough. So we have that here. Let me double check if I've missed a step. So we're setting up n8n, install that. No, so that's all good. So we have MCP client. So we're going to have 4 of these. We're going to have one for listing resources. I know what, I'll copy them from over here, because otherwise it will be a nuisance trying to write them all down. So we'll have 4. We have list tools. Let me open this up. I'll show you. So I have psqldb list tools. That's what I've called it. This name gets passed to your LLM, so try and make sure that it's as accurate as it can be. Operation, list tools, and then we want to connect it to a credential. And tool description, automatically set it. So let it automatically be decided what the description of this specific node is. So credential to connect with. You won't have one, so click create new. And from here we have command and arguments. In command, we want to have npx, and in arguments, I'll show you what we're going to have. So if we write in model context protocol, this is the GitHub server. Again, it's inside here, down at the bottom. Let me see. We have the n8n nodes MCP. So this is the specific one that we're using. But within the model context protocol GitHub, you have a list of every single one that you can use for MCPs, and this is on Claude, n8n, whatever, right? And what we want to do is we want to use pSQL. So if we, it might be, yep, Postgres. So it's this one here, PostgreSQL, read-only database access. So if we click in here, this is the MCP server for Postgres. Now the tools that are available, only query, and the resources available are only schemas. So this is not the official one, this is just made by someone so that we have a server for it. But on other ones, you have loads, and I suspect over time these will grow as these become more widely adopted. But like the tools, for example, not Google Drive, Google Mail, let's see, Gmail, because I've made the Gmail agent before. That was the first agent we've created on the channel. But in here, send email, blah, blah, blah. So if you go to the tools section here, available tools, send email, draft email, read email, search, blah, 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 blah. So what that means is for these 4 tools that we have, let me leave here, these 4 tools, previously you'd have had to have however many there are of those tools on the screen. So let me open this back up again. Oops. I mean, that's fine to show you because I'm going to delete it all anyway. But I just don't want to have hashtag spoilers. So, anyway, let's go back to the Postgres server up the top. If we go to the Postgres server and scroll down, you can see that there's an npx usage with Claude Desktop. Now, they all say usage with Claude Desktop because it's the main place the MCP servers are being used. But you want to go to the npx one. You can see the command is npx, args is -y, then the server, then your Postgres. So command npx in our database agent, command npx, arguments we have -y, blah blah blah. So let's copy all of that and we'll bring it over. And then we want to remove here because we don't want any quotation marks. We'll have the -y, we have this at model context, blah blah blah, and then we'll delete this. Then we have our Postgres DB. So if we go back to the database, we want to get this external database URL, bring this in here, paste it in, bam, and now we have this all sorted. But it won't work, and that's because we have to bring over this SSL mode require. So if we bring that in, paste it at the end, it looks all confusing, but don't worry, it's not. Basically, you're saying install this here. So this model context protocol server Postgres. Y is just automatically accept stuff. Don't have to do the, are you sure you want to install it? Yes or no, all of that. And here is just which Postgres DB you want to install, which is your username, :password at, whatever it is, blah, 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 render.com / the table name, or database name, sorry. And then require SSL, i.e. make sure that it goes over HTTPS and not over HTTP. And then we save that, and now it will be connected. So we just connect all of these 4 up. I'll show you what the other ones are. So the first one is that list tools. The next one we have is list resources, again the same name. The next one is execute tool. And this one you do execute tool and it wants a tool name. So for this, we have these curly braces to denote that it's going to be an expression here. So make sure expression's clicked. Then $from AI. So let the AI decide. It's going to be called tool name. And then selected tool to execute is the description of what it is and what it does. And as for the parameters of this tool, we want these to be defined automatically by the model. So you click this here. There we go, automatically defined by the model. Because basically the tool, so when you list tools, the tools will be query. Now we want, if say it was query and some other stuff, right? Well, in execute tool, we want to say tool name so that it knows this should be query. But then the actual parameters, so what is the query, we want the AI model to decide. List resources, list the resources, and read resources. You click read resource and then let the URI be defined by the model. And so that's like to get the schema. So we have everything connected up. What you might need to do is, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, is if you copy this here, you may need to install it locally. So if you do npm install, paste it in, -g, and then that will globally install this package onto your computer so that you can always access it. And if we go back here, let's run it. So let's do a test and just say, what tables can you see? And then it will go into list resources, and it may go into read resources too. No, all good. So tables, you can see users, products, orders, and order, which are the 4. If we go here, you can see table, users, products, orders, and order items. Let's see, order items. Perfect. So now we'll say something like, how many users do we have? So then it will try and find which one of these, and then it may have to read the resource to see the schema of the specific table, and then it will try to, it's trying to execute, but it should list first. So we'll see if it figures it out. So it's encountered errors. The way I had gotten around these errors before are, if we open up the AI agent, under options we can add a system message. So a problem often with AIs and LLMs, which was driving me bonkers, but people just don't talk about it enough, is this idea of prompt engineering. So let's go to expression, then we can click this and I'll open this up. I'll paste this in here. So don't get overwhelmed with it, but essentially it's just saying you're an AI agent, and then this is your purpose, this is the workflow, this is what you're expected to do, execute, output, some safety rules. Basically a big chunk of text to say, listen, this is how I expect you to operate. Because if you just leave them to their own devices, they kind of just don't know what to do. They're like, oh, I'm a helpful assistant. And they just try and figure it out. Whereas here, you're saying this is pretty much what I want you to do. Almost exactly. Which I know maybe sounds like it defeats the point of an AI agent, but it still doesn't, because if you think of the alternative here would be to write SQL queries all by yourself. So this is like, you set this once and then you can kind of forget about it and you can let it continually run. So I think prompt engineering is so important that actually within the school community we have a prompt engineering course that I'm creating right now, and it will be released within the next about 3 weeks. So yeah, that's underway currently. So we have that system message in. If we then copy that out, let me reset the session so that it forgets that it didn't know, because you don't want it to look in its memory and go, oh yeah, I don't know the answer to that. So how many users do we have? And then we'll put it in and we'll see how it goes this time. So this time the agent will be running with the specific prompt. Also, to be aware as well is what model you're using. I was using the 4.0 mini, as I was saying, was not working. I tried using, oh there we go, we have a total of 20 users in the database. We'll check that in a second. But I tried using Anthropic's Claude as well, and that just wasn't working. And I realised it's because I'm trying to use the cheapest models I can, when really you just need to use the cheapish models. And for example, like how much does it actually cost? If we come to platform.openai.com/usage, so my AI, I've been using this like for hours now. It's Saturday, it's almost 2 PM. I've been using this since like 10 AM. It's like 4 hours. And I've only spent, 10 cents, which is crazy. So anyway, if we go back here, total of 20 users, if we go here, we can see that when it actually sets it up, it creates 20 users. So there you go. That's how simple it can be. I say simple, but that is how simple it can be to set it up. If you think this is complicated, like, don't worry, come to the community, ask me in the Q&A some more questions. You get a 7-day free trial, which means if you get it today or any day, because I have a Q&A every week, you'll have a free Q&A with me. You can then also download the actual workflow as well, so you don't have to sit and follow the video and create it. You can just download that workflow and get it up and running, and that's you, as simple as that. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you shortly for our coding agent, because the next part we need to cover is how to get an AI agent in n8n to actually write code and push it into GitHub, which is pretty cool. So anyway, till next time.